Greetings, boys and ghouls. I'm Sean with the Goosebumps Crew Podcast. You've asked for it, and now the Goosebumps Crew Podcast wants to deliver.
And you're in for a scare, because the Goosebumps Crew is proud to announce one weekend at Horrorland.
So get ready, my friends, for an event that celebrates the magic of horror literature like never before.
It's where you'll find like-minded fans of some of your favorite horror shows and movies, including some of the guests who've appeared on the Goosebumps Crew Podcast.
Our special guests, panels, and activities for fans of all ages will immerse you in an exciting and spooky atmosphere, sure to get you into the spirit of things.
But here's the thing, we can't do it alone. We need your support to bring this dream of ours to life.
By making a donation, you become an essential part of making this extraordinary event a reality.
And as a token of our appreciation, the Goosebumps Crew has prepared some extraordinary gifts and rewards exclusively for our backers.
So, my friends, join us on this magical journey where we will create a weekend filled with pure passion and shared love for the horror genre.
Please visit our Kickstarter donation page now. Let your passion ignite the flame that will make this event a reality.
The most thrilling, spine-tingling series ever.
From the pages of R.L. Stein's best-selling books,
And the screams go on forever and ever.
We now return to Goosebumps.
Greetings, Goosebumps fans, young and old, big and small. Welcome back to the Goosebumps Crew Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Isaiah Vargas, and I'm joined by the rest of the Goosebumps Crew, Shawn, Nick Shaw, and the ultimate Goosebumps man, Michael Lillquist. And we're also joined once again by our good buddies, Goosebumps Completionist and Horror4Kids. Welcome back, guys.
Thank you.
Yep, great to have you guys
Thank
back.
you for bringing me on.
Yeah, of course. You guys are always welcome on the podcast. And unfortunately, Bjorn is sick today, so he is unable to join us. But we have him in spirit, and we're gonna watch some more Goosebumps. We're gonna talk some Goosebumps.
Well, that's all, folks. Thanks for joining us.
Yep. See you later. Goodbye. No, we're gonna talk some Goosebumps as always. And you know, if you guys are familiar with the podcast, you know we talk all the time about how big Goosebumps was back in the 90s. And we're not hyperbolizing, it really was big. I mean, you could find almost any product tie-in or whatever. It probably had Goosebumps on it at some point. Even stuff as stupid as milk caps. Like, that sort of thing. Like, collect all the Goosebumps milk caps. It was weird. But,
they're called Pogs.
Yeah, they were essentially Pogs. It's like that Simpsons scene is like, remember Alf? He's back in Pog form. That was Goosebumps. So we're going to delve into that world of Goosebumps advertising, specifically Goosebumps commercials. And if I can shamelessly self-promote really quick, if you guys have ever checked out my main YouTube channel, The Steam Lord, I've been collecting and compiling Goosebumps commercials for years, since I believe March 2018. And if you go to my channel now, there is a 4.5 hour video that is nothing but Goosebumps promotions, commercials, ads, and trailers. And the funny part is that if I were to make that now, that was Christmas Day 2022, I released that video. If I made that now, I probably could guarantee you it'd be about 90 minutes longer. That's how much there is. So we got a big topic on our hands today. So what we're going to do is we are going to watch a compilation of Goosebumps commercials. I have a whole playlist set to go, and we're going to watch through each of them one at a time and give our thoughts on the products. And before we get to that, as always, I got to remind you all, if you are not following the Goosebumps Crew Podcast on YouTube, our audio platforms, or following us on social media, then I got to tell you, you should be questioning whether or not you're a real Goosebumps fan. Because if you're a real Goosebumps fan, you would tune into us every single week. Not only do we have new episodes every week where we talk about all things Goosebumps, Goosebumps books, TV shows, movies, what have you, but we've also had some incredible guests on the podcast, actors from the TV shows, cast and crew from the movies and the TV shows, artists, other Goosebumps fans, you name it. We've had tons of people on the podcast, tons of great discussions, and if you guys love Goosebumps, you're going to love the Goosebumps Crew Podcast. So make sure you follow all of our platforms, YouTube, audio platforms, social medias. All those links are in the description below. All right, so it's time to watch some Goosebumps commercials. Are you guys ready? You guys got your popcorn?
Yeah.
Woo!
All right. Okay, so we're here. We got our playlist of commercials. We're going to watch through each of them one at a time and give our thoughts. So let's start out with the first commercial.
What are they, and where do they come from?
Goosebumps toys!
Some of them make freaky faces not even a mother could love. Inksters squirt vile ink that disappears in a flash. The motion creatures will shake, rattle, and roll their bones at the snap of your fingers. Just imagine if they came to life. Goosebumps toys.
Each sold separately, batteries not included.
If reading's a scream, playing's a howl.
Bird just shit on the screen.
Bird just shit on the goddamn screen.
Oh, it's the cherry on top.
It's
Do you think that was an
too.
inside
That's
joke?
nasty. What did that bird
It
eat?
seems like an inside joke because they got the slappy squirter and then the bird he comes down. Looks like he's taking a shit.
There's a lot of squirting. There's a lot of squirting in this commercial.
That splatter sound effect was real.
So that was the Goosebumps Canada Games commercial. So that was a bunch of toys that were released by the company Canada Games. And as you saw, they had the freaky faces, which were basically hand puppets of Goosebumps characters. You had the Inksters, which squirt disappearing ink. And then the motion creatures, which move when you clap your hands, snap your fingers. They would move all about. And yes, they did have sticks up their ass. So
I'll say I'd move like that too if I had a stick up my ass. So.
Yeah, that's a Toy Story movie that I gotta see. Oh, get that thing out of my ass!
Buzz, no.
Buzz, no. But those toys are pretty neat, and me personally, I would really like to have. There was another one besides Curly of the motion creatures, right? I think there was like.
Yeah, there was the Mummy.
Yeah, the Mummy.
Believe.
I was like, there couldn't have been a horror. I was either gonna say horror or Slappy, but both of those didn't sound right to me.
Pretty sure it's the Mummy.
But and then you got.
Yeah, I've actually while I don't have any of these, we have like a local secondhand comic book / toy store near where I live. And recently when I went there, I think over spring break, I want to say, they actually had a freaky face in the box, like a curly one in the display case. I couldn't get it because it was $160, but
that's bullshit. Free him.
Brand new in the box. That's probably about right.
Yeah.
They also had a Series 2 collectible. They had Cuddles. Not Series 2, Series 1. It was Cuddles.
Oh, that's still neat. I was going to say, if you saw a Series 2 collectible and a motion creature in the box, dude, what the fuck?
Not a motion creature. It was a freaky face.
I'm coming near where you are.
It was a freaky face, not a motion creature.
Damn. Still. But, and then you had I love these kids that are just strolling through the graveyard all cool.
Mm-hmm.
They're the kids that are like, my dad told me to be in by 8, but whatever.
Because, strolling through the graveyard at night, it's such a casual teen activity. It's just something every kid wants to do, right?
Strolling with a crow.
That's what I did.
And then, I love the voice of the crow.
And I vulture shit on my camera and everything.
I remember that was one of the first commercials for Goosebumps I saw on the internet. And I was like, whoa, those look so cool. I want those. And I probably won't have them unless I'm rich. So, oh well.
Want the most frightfully fantastic Goosebumps ever? Then enter the Fox Kids Terrorific Goosebumps giveaway. The grand prize winner will meet R.L. Stein in person. You'll have lunch and hear about the new Goosebumps book he's writing with you in it. Your friends will freak because you'll be the first kid to own every new Goosebumps book until the year 2000. And wait until they see you on Fox Kids in a real episode of Goosebumps. 500 other fans win all 42 Goosebumps books, including the spine-tingling new Egg Monsters from Mars. To enter, get us a postcard by March 15th to Fox Kids Goosebumps giveaway, P.O. Box 230, Los Angeles 90078.
Think it's too late to send that in?
Probably.
I don't know if this is the same one that was featured in the magazine, but I think one of the winners was Jack Archer, who was put in the Series 2000 book Invasion of the Body Squeezers.
That is correct.
I don't know if I think, is this the commercial for that?
Yes, it is. So this was the commercial for the Fox Kids Terrorific Goosebumps giveaway that happened in '96, and as it said, I mean, this was probably a Goosebumps fan dream come true. Not only did you get all the Goosebumps books until the year 2000, you got to be in a Goosebumps book, in a Goosebumps episode, and you got to have lunch with R.L. Stein. And actually, there was a follow-up promo because, yes, the winner was Jack Archer, and he was a kid from Omaha. And he not only got to do all of that, he was in Invasion of the Body Squeezers, you're right. And actually, he got to be in the Give Yourself Goosebumps Revenge of the Body Squeezers. So, technically, he got to be in 3 Goosebumps books.
Wow.
Damn. That kid's lucky.
It's crazy.
Wasn't he an extra on Haunted Mask 2?
Yep, and that was, he was the kid who is the clown. So there's a scene where a kid dressed up as a clown goes up to his dad and he says, "Let's go over there." That's Jack Archer in that scene. So that's pretty cool. And then he actually, one thing they didn't say in this commercial, but the follow-up promo where they announced that he was the winner showed that he got to go check out Ron Stefanik's studio and get to see all the masks and the costumes and everything. So this kid was set. Like, I mean, he got to have everything that day. That'd be a cool person to talk to someday. Wherever you are, Jack, call us. But that's not a bad follow-up prize either. 500 other kids ended up getting every book in the original series up to that point, which was Egg Monsters from Mars. So they got to get 42 Goosebumps books. Pretty decent prize.
Crazy.
But were they true first prints?
Probably not.
Probably not.
And I don't think that was the only contest where people, like, contest winners got their names put in books. I know as recent as Slappy World, a kid paid on eBay a price, or I guess his parents paid for him, and he was put into It's Alive, It's Alive. I think the character Gates, he was the kid that paid to be a character in the book.
Oh, dang. I didn't know it was that easy.
Yeah, and then there was another Series 2000 book where a character was put in there. I forget her name specifically, but I think she was in that book called, what was it? I think it was... Why am I blanking on it? I think it was either Mummy Walks or something. Mummy Walks, maybe Werewolf in the Living Room. I forget which one, but it was in Series 2000 in the back half. It was mentioned on like Wayback Machine. You can go look at the website and mentions her name that she was a winner for that. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That is really cool. But I mean, there was many Goosebumps giveaways, especially through Fox Kids. But this was always the one that just seemed the coolest to me. It was just like, be in the show, be in a book, get all these books, meet R.L. Stein. Like, it was cool. It is a cool giveaway. It makes you wish. It makes me wish I was back in that age.
Kids.
There were so many on Fox Kids.
Fox Kids had so many good stuff, man.
So much. And being Canadian, like, I knew that I wasn't going to win any of it. But I was super jealous of all of you guys because Fox Kids, like, had it going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was crazy.
Really did.
I don't even remember
so many
how
great shows, contests, giveaways, commercials.
Oh yeah,
dude, Fox Kids was amazing.
Yeah, 96 and 97, Goosebumps ran supreme on Fox Kids, which kind of sucks because by the end of 97, it kind of fizzled out in favor of new shows. But it was a good year. It was a good year for Goosebumps on TV.
If you are looking for real thrills, call into Angus and Robertson Book World. Right now, we've got Goosebumps books reduced from $6.95 to $5.55. And that's not all. Only Angus and Robertson Book World gives you a Goosebumps bookmark when you buy a Goosebumps book. This bookmark proves you are a member of Angus and Robertson Book World's exclusive Goosebumps Club, and it means you'll enjoy great Goosebumps offers in the future. It's enough to give you goose pimples. Get your Goosebumps books for $5.55 at Angus and Robertson Book World, and join the club now.
So that was a commercial for Angus and Robertson Book World, which I believe is a store in Australia.
That's in Australia.
Yes, and they had their own Goosebumps Club, where you could get a Goosebumps bookmark. And actually, as we said, Bjorn couldn't join us tonight, but he actually recently got one of those bookmarks in the commercial that you got specifically through signing up. I believe signing up for the Goosebumps Club they had. But he got one. But I love this commercial, the setting of it. I love all the spider webs everywhere and the monster hand holding the candle. Like, it was pretty good set design for what I would assume is a locally made commercial.
Yeah,
I mean, I kind of get where they're going with, like, trying to do the whole, like, vampire Dracula voice going on here. But, I mean, my first
weird
thought
accent.
with this being an Australian commercial was like, "Oi, come down here and get your
Goosebumps books, you fucking prick."
I kind of like it, as like a hindsight thing when you look at it, like how bookshops that you might have never heard of were trying to, get licensing or permission to do these type of things back then. You don't see Barnes and Noble or Books A Million doing things like this these days, and those are like pretty much the big two that are left.
Mm-hmm. And $5.55 for Goosebumps. I mean, it's not too far off from what we have now. Like at what is it like? You have to pay $8 for a new Goosebumps.
Remember, that's the Australian dollar too.
Ugh. Yeah. So
that's the Australian dollar though.
Yeah, you're right.
It's interesting seeing this commercial though. It's interesting seeing this commercial because it's not called Angus and Robertson, but there was a couple Book World stores I found in Wisconsin actually, but they've gone out of business now. But
it must have been Angus and Robertson in particular must have been an Australian exclusive.
Yeah.
But the fact
I know
that
I've seen Book Worlds around here.
The fact that a local bookshop would have their own Goosebumps promotion is pretty crazy. It just kind of shows that everyone was trying to hop on that gravy train back then.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a lot easier to get the license back then, apparently, because trying to get it now, like, good luck.
Well, it became much more of a monolith in the 30 years it's been around, so makes sense.
Yeah.
It's out there, waiting. The Goosebumps Intimidator. Will it intimidate you? It's the game that talks back.
We're in for a scare. Excellent! Yes. And you called me a dummy. Yes.
Gotcha. Yes.
You'll never get us all.
The Goosebumps Intimidator. Is it really just a game?
So that was for the Goosebumps MGA Intimidator game. And I gotta preface this with a question. Did anyone willingly play that garbage?
I'm surprised the commercial advertised them playing it at night, because those old games, there was no light in the screen. You needed to have sunlight or some natural light around you to be able to play it. So that's impressive.
He must have glow in the dark vision or something like that to see that tiny ass screen in the dark. But those I've seen better games on a TI-83 calculator.
I wonder who did the voices for Slappy.
Yeah, it's like very Cockney, like yeah. I don't know. That's what Slappy sounds like.
And the weird graphic they do for his mouth, where it's like completely detached from the rest of his face.
Literally, South Park Canadians. South Park Canadians.
It sounds like the similar soundboard they used on the Goosebumps website back in the 90s. If you can look at it on a Wayback Machine, and you can turn the sound on. The Slappy sounds almost identical to that Slappy, so I'm wondering if it's the same voice actor.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Maybe.
Anyone notice the Goosebumps logo at the beginning that's lying on the ground? For some reason, it reminds me of those little candies that had the black outline to it. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it just looks like something you could pick up and be like, ooh, delicious. But, and then this kid, this freaking kid. Whoa! Excellent! It's like
giving you some Bill and Ted vibes,
I'm totally
bro.
serious here. I'm actually enjoying this game. I'm totally not being paid to act like I like it.
Yeah. Well, God, it's just like, that's the kind of shit your parents got you if, like, you're poor and you can't afford a fucking Game Boy. Like,
here's your
now,
Tiger
the price of one of those in a box is probably worth more than a PS4
God,
or PS5.
How the turntable.
Future PS6. Why not?
Nobody's gonna play it though. It's just gonna sit on a shelf and rot.
Mm-hmm.
I'd play it.
Yeah. No, those Tiger games are such ass. I mean, like, whenever I got one of those as a kid, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
The coolest thing that Tiger ever put out was that 2XL. Do you remember the 2XL robot that played tapes?
No, I don't.
Goosebumps should have made tapes for that because Are You Afraid of the Dark made some that had stories on it. That would have been perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But they never made it.
That's weird. The only thing I know that Tiger made was the U-Force. It was the dumb thing that you, like, hooked around. It was like I'll put it the way AVGN put it. It's like a shitty version of the Virtual Boy. Somehow they managed to do that. You had to, like, strap it on your head, and then it had, like, you looked at it through one eye. So you're like, what a crock.
Or like the craze in the 90s I'll never get is the Tamagotchis. Like,
yeah, I'll never understand those.
Just how to be there, man.
Like, seriously, like, what's the point of it? Like, you're giving a kid basically a thing that has to constantly care of when they have school and they physically can't take care of their Tamagotchi and it ends up dying by the end of the school day.
So many of mine died.
You know the straps on your backpack? You would clip it through the hole in your strap, and then you would walk around while you're in the hallway with your backpack and take care of it in between classes. That's how you took care of it.
I guess.
People in their lockers and stuff just
I never
taking care of theirs.
It's the Pizza Head Show.
Hey, everybody! I'm on my way to Pizza Hut to get a Goosebumps Kids Pack. Yay!
Almost there.
Hey, this isn't the right way.
Well, Scarecrow Steve says it is.
He's no scarecrow.
Sure he is.
Uh-oh, I think I woke the neighbors.
Look, Pizza Head, you'll be perfectly safe in there.
Okay.
Relax, the Goosebumps guys just want you for dinner. See you in the next lifetime. Now you can collect one of 3 ghoulish Goosebumps Glow and Tell story card sets when you buy a Pizza Hut Kids Pack.
Alright, so that was, of course, we had to show that, the Pizza Hut Goosebumps commercial. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with Pizza Head, it was a character that Pizza Hut did in their commercials in the 90s. And it was a very blatant takeoff of SNL's Mr. Bill. You know, the little clay character that just always the nicest guy, and then he just got shit on every single time by this disembodied hand. And that's essentially what Pizza Head was, except it was a piece of pizza. But they did a Goosebumps promotion with Pizza Hut in 97, I believe. And you got these little story cards.
Yeah, those glow and tell cards I really want. Those are like something like on my top of my want list. But I think it's funny that we bring up Mr. Bill because for this being a Fox Kids show, on basically every Fox Kids VHS tape I can remember as a kid, a Mr. Bill advertisement was on it. Like,
really?
Like for like the Harvey block, I think there was a Harvey block on, what was it, Fox Family or something? And then you would have like Mr. Bill, Mr. Bean, and all these other Fox Family characters would come on, but they would usually focus a skit on Mr. Bill, and I always thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Like on the VHS of the Casper straight-to-video movies. That's where I remember seeing it the most.
Well, I implore everyone
to
check out the actual, like, I believe there's a compilation of Pizza Head commercials, because they did a ton of these. They were, like, always doing them, and I just remember they were hilarious to me as a kid watching them on YouTube. Like, awesome. I believe there was one where it was like, you get a free basketball. By the way, Pizza Hut's had some awesome toys back then for, like, their pizzas. There was one where you could get a whole basketball for, like, with your meal. And they did a Pizza Head one. and the disembodied hand's like trying to get him to play a game of basketball, but he's like, I just want to eat my Pizza Hut.
Did they ever do any Did they ever do any commercials for the X-Men cartoon?
I don't think they did. I know they did one for Star Wars. And
I don't know if they did. Actually, I do think they did commercials because, like, I think that's how I found out they were doing the VHS giveaway thing up there, like when you got the kids pack there. I'll have to double check though, but I do believe they did a commercial for those X-Men VHS tapes.
Now I gotta mention.
Hungry.
I know I could go for some pizza myself.
Yeah. No, I gotta mention they always had the pizza cutters, so it's like, that's another thing they did. It was like, it's Steve. It's like, it's Coach Steve or Chef Steve, and it's always a pizza cutter, and he's like, he's no chef. Sure he is. So here it's like Scarecrow Steve. And then, you got it's cool that they, had attention to detail, because all the pizza cutters in the mausoleum at the end, they're all Goosebumps characters. Yeah. There's a Heart, there's Curly, there's Slappy. And then I just like that the whole thing just freaking explodes at the end. It just blows up.
And also, fun fact about when you mentioned that Pizza Head was a spin-off of Mr. Bill. Fun fact is that Pizza Head was actually written by the same guy who did the writing for Mr. Bill. So.
I would imagine it's just about the same level of writing, so I'd have to bet it was done by someone involved with it. But I love these commercials. Definitely check them out on YouTube if you haven't. One last thing I'll say is just I really like that Slappy cup there. I really wish I could have that cup.
Cool.
I still gotta get those, but they're so expensive.
Yeah, like, it's funny how these like
$25 to $30 for one of those little kid cups. You know what I mean? It's like, god dang.
It's funny how you got these with your meal back then, and now honestly, these things alone that they probably didn't put much thought into are now more than like 2 or 3 meals from Pizza Hut. So
yeah,
I mean, unless you're planning to eat the cards, then get more bang for your buck.
New on video.
Did you see that?
Be careful.
Way to go, Carly.
The mask is back.
Cool.
Would you take off that mask, please?
The Haunted Mask 2.
These masks are alive.
Based on R.L. Stine's best-selling books for kids, comes an all-new, fun and scary video from Goosebumps.
This is way too cool.
Prepare for another scare. The Haunted Mask 2, now on video. It'll make your head spin.
That was the commercial for the VHS of Haunted Mask 2, and that was a cool find for me, because like I said, I've been scouting these commercials for years, and I think I found that one on Internet Archive in a YTV recording, and I found that commercial. But I love those VHS promos of the Goosebumps tapes, every single one. I love the shot of the book, like that flies in and then it morphs into the tape. I always really like that.
That's cool.
That was like a staple on the VHS releases too. Like I think they had a similar ad in almost all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would always be like, it would be the same guy doing the voice. It'd be like, this is the book we're doing. So it'd be like, in this case, Haunted Mask 2 from the pages of Goosebumps, R.L. Stine's best-selling books for kids. They were always great, and I think they did one for just about every single tape except for Ultimate Goosebumps, which I don't think ever got any commercials. The Ultimate Goosebumps tapes, I think, just appeared, and I think they just had the book ads, and that was it. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully someday I come across a promo for those, but I've never been able to find one, so oh well.
It's hard to put into words just how much YTV was like the biggest thing in the 90s. YTV had Goosebumps. YTV had Are You Afraid of the Dark? Like it was the It channel. It was so good. They put so much care and thought. The hosts since the 90s, like all the way to like the mid 2000s, everyone just did a stellar job.
No, I mean, like, especially because here's something I'll bring up is, whenever YTV did their Halloween, they did Dark Knight, and it was always cool. It was always great, especially when they got Goosebumps. So they would show Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark? I think they even had they would even show Buffy on there, and yeah, it was just like a super cool night. I remember for the 5th one, it was treated as like a live broadcast. So they were like filming from a control room, and they were like investigating this haunted town, and then in between they would play the episodes of the shows. So they would be like, all right, we're gonna play Welcome to Dead House made its premiere that night. So they're like, all right, we're gonna play this episode of Goosebumps, and we'll be back to give you more intel on this haunted place. It was always great. I love when TV like did that cool stuff for Halloween. Like they would like it made everything immersive in the end. So
immersive. I'm so impressed that you knew about Dark Knight, dude. That's that's some real knowledge there. That's awesome stuff.
No, it's cool. Again, it's just a testament to how things in the 90s used to be. They would make things really cool for everyone. But
exactly. PJ Phil, I actually know him. So if you ever want to like maybe like chat with him, we'll set something up.
That'd be cool. I think that'd be really neat.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And in terms of these tapes, I mean, I've always had I don't want to say obsession, but a fascination with the Goosebumps VHS tapes. It's something about how the way they looked, and it was just always so more appealing to me to watch the episodes on a VHS tape as opposed to a DVD or on streaming. So anytime I feel like watching Goosebumps, I'll just go to my VHS shelf over here and just pop one in. And that's how I watch Goosebumps. So
pretty much all the best episodes were put on VHS anyway. So
right? Yeah, absolutely. Just the only one we didn't get here in the States was Welcome to Camp Nightmare. That was Australia only. Bjorn.
Well, that one, and I think they released Return of the Mummy, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was like a.
Yeah, they did that VHS. Yeah.
So it's ultra rare. Some people have them, but you'd be hard pressed to find it on any eBay sellers unless you're really lucky. And even then, you're probably going to be paying out the butt for one of those.
Infamy! Infamy! They've all got it in infamy!
Get a free spine-chilling Goosebumps bookmark inside special packs of Sugar Puffs.
It's a monster! Gotcha! Wait for me!
Why is that Sugar Puffs mascot more horrifying than the literal headless ghost?
I was just about to say, like, honestly, if that thing came through the door, I would be scared shitless.
Yeah. Like someone needs to tell
the Haunting Hours mascot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the Haunting Hours mascot stole the Bananas in the Pajamas costume they used to wear in that show.
That is a great analogy. That was the Sugar Puffs Goosebumps bookmarks commercial. So you got free Goosebumps holographic bookmarks in your Sugar Puff cereal, which are pretty cool. I mean, compared to some of the other like cereal prizes you would getting like one of those really cool bookmarks of like Slappy or Curly, I think is pretty neat overall. But
and it's cool they actually put the headless ghost in there as like the main advertiser instead of like Slappy or any of the traditional ones. They had something really unique for the monster.
I'm willing to bet it was just they wanted like just a regular ghost, and also they just wanted to do jokes with like, you know, he drops the head and he runs away and he's like, wait for me.
Yeah.
But I love that noise he makes at the end when the monster says boo. He's just like, oh. What kind of fucking?
I think the bookmark. I think that was a Prince Koru bookmark. It's kind of wild just to think about how much Prince Koru merch they put out back then.
Yeah,
you want to think
he was one of like the main icons in the 90s.
Yeah, it's weird how Prince Koru, like, yeah, you're right. He Cuddles and
Mommy, Cuddles, Curly,
even like
Slappy,
Amazo and the Shrunken Head, like would get, you know,
and again, it's weird because like some of the main mascots are from books that people don't like. Like Return of the Mummy, How You Can't Scare Me. Like
those are like wave
Matt Harriday.
Those are like wave 1 mascots too, and then by the time you get to wave 2, when you get to like Beast from the East and the Abominable Snowman of Pasadena and Shrunken Head
and the Egg Monsters.
The Egg Monsters. You don't see that much merch for those compared to Koru or the Horrors or the mud monsters, which I think has always been fascinating because you can definitely see the hype was huger way early on than it was near the back half of OG62.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But no, this was a really deep.
It made me wonder. Like, me and Bjorn had talked about it several times. You know, it's like in Australia, like Cuddles was like basically plastered all everything, and we just say it's because it's Australia, you know, and they're known for like deadly animals and stuff. So that makes sense. But
that does make sense.
We always wondered, like, who chose all these characters to be like the faces, basically, of all these products. Like, was it just random? Did somebody actually choose these because they did like a survey or something with kids saying we like this one, this one, this one? You know, I always kind of wondered that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the fact that the haunted mask never became one of the advertising icons is so weird to me.
Sugar Puff's monster is absolutely horrifying. It's more horrifying than the ghost or the Goosebumps. So that's the main takeaway from this one.
It's what Big Yellow was doing before Mascot. Mascot Big Yellow is actually just the washed up version of the Sugar Puffs mascot.
So washed up. That's where he ended up. Honestly, I would think that Big Yellow became that thing and not the other way around. So
he sold out.
Yep, he definitely did. He's a
sold
sellout.
out.
Every night, the ghost of the poor boy roamed the halls looking for his missing head. Even now, you hear his footsteps.
Let your imagination run wild at Target, where you'll find the latest Goosebumps books and videos, plus a huge assortment of candy.
I knew that wasn't a real monster.
See, they don't make awesome commercials like that anymore.
I know.
What was that mask? What was that mask on the left next to Curly?
I don't know. It looked like a really old man, sad old man mask. But that was for Target's Give Me Goosebumps promotion back in the 90s, I believe 97. So in 97, Target did this big promotion with Scholastic and Goosebumps to basically at all Target stores have these massive pop-up Goosebumps displays. And you can get books, VHS tapes, clothing, merch, all sorts of things. It was crazy. And this commercial actually, and the reason that this one is in the quality as is because this is the only way you were able to find it is, recording off of a TV. But I love this one. I love the kid reading The Headless Ghost, and then the Target worker, they do like the fake out where he's holding a head, but then he's just like, what? I'm holding the mask. But then, of course, you have him pull off his head at the end and put it, not only pull it off, but put it on the rack, and then it just goes from smiling to, like, it's a mask, too. It's great. I love it.
That was probably my favorite commercial so far. That flooded back a lot of memories of being in Target back in the day. You have no idea unless you were there. But I can remember my mom taking me to the kiosk and picking out VHS tapes at a very young age. The ones I didn't have.
Isn't it just like when you're a kid, they're like Target is just like one of those places like, yeah, we're going to Target. Like, there's something about Target was just like, as a kid, you're just like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah, that was me. I remember looking through the dollar aisle all the time. I don't know why. As a kid, the dollar aisle was my thing.
Yeah, but the fact that they did this big Goosebumps, and there is footage of online of like the display at one of the Target stores. I think it was if you go to the Goosebumps channel where I post commercials by themselves, there is B-roll footage from like a news article, and they shot footage of all those displays, and you can see like just the extent of like what was all available. There is just all these stacks of books and everything. It's like, god damn it, like I wish I could go back to that time. You'll never find anything
seriously
like that again.
If they invent time machines before I die, that's exactly where I'm going. I'm going back to the 90s.
Yep, I'm gonna take them all and just like, fuck you. This is mine now.
Cares if we butterfly affect the future? I'm taking these Goosebumps with me.
Yeah, it's gonna cause the apocalypse or something like that. So
can't make the future worse than we already know it is. I mean, realistically.
That's fair.
Stark up there. You go first.
Goosebumps, now on DVD. Every spine-tingling story is so good, it's scary. Goosebumps. You can own all 3 DVDs today, each sold separately.
So that's the commercial. So that's the first of our more recent ones. That's the commercial for the first line of Goosebumps DVDs after Horrorland came out. So they did, they had a line of DVDs beforehand. They looked pretty similar. They had the book covers and all that stuff. And then they came out with these 3, Terror Tower, Horrorland, and Monster Blood. And they had these beautiful, realistic-looking covers. And I remember seeing that promo on TV when they came out. It was like a big deal because you had that, and then you had the new books coming out. So it was almost like hand-in-hand sort of thing. You get the show and the books. But yeah, what did you guys think when that first came out? Like, they were new Goosebumps DVDs.
See, I was in high school, and I remember I would go to like Walmart or Target, and the DVD section in the back, they had back in the day, they had a way bigger selection than they do now. But they had a whole row of kids movies, and they had an entire section of Goosebumps. I remember it. And I'm like, dude, they finally had this show on DVD. I remember I picked up like maybe 1 or 2, but I was in high school at the time, so I wasn't really collecting. But I remember it, and I'm like, wow, Goosebumps is like back. They're like showing kids this show I used to love. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I remember like when I was a kid seeing these DVDs in Walmart all the time, like back in the movie section. Like the ones I distinctly remember were Monster Blood. I think I saw a couple of the 3-pack thrillers. And the one I mainly remember was I found The Blob Dated Everyone in a $5 movie bin. And I just like stared at the DVD for so long while my mom was checking out. Like I would just look at this back and just stare at the episodes. Because I was too much of a coward to watch the show as a kid.
No, it was weird because these DVDs not only had a new look, but they were the first ones to actually have a DVD menu. Because if you go back to the first line of DVDs, it would just play like maybe a 20th Century Fox DVD promo for like fucking Strawberry Shortcake or something like that, or Garfield, and then it would just play the movie, and that was it. At least the new ones had a DVD menu, even though they didn't, they still didn't have any bonus features on it.
I know, that sucked.
Yeah, they have like a behind the scenes or trailers or anything. It was just play the movie or select your language settings. I don't know.
They had episode selections. There's an episode selection screen.
Yeah, but
it just makes me think, and how frustrated I am, the fact that we haven't gotten a North American box set of the show with like special features, interviews, and behind the scenes stuff. That's like my most wanted thing ever. If they would make that, I would pay however much it costs. I'll buy it for $100 something if I need to. That's just something they need to.
Hopefully next year for the 30th anniversary of the show, they'll do something.
Yeah, hopefully. It certainly should. All right.
Well, if Ifs and Buts was candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. So I'm not going to say Scholastic's going to do it because they didn't do anything for the 30th anniversary for the books except for, I think, a tote bag. It was like, hey, it's 30 this year. Celebrate on your own. We're not giving you anything.
Yeah. The thing that also, I've seen, that kind of bothers me about some people talk about, the newer DVDs, though, is I've seen so many people who are crapping on the modern covers because they just want the Jacobus art.
Well, I mean,
I actually really like the foreign tapes that we've talked about, I think, before. If not, then you can definitely find them online. But they actually use, the actors from the episode as the cover. Don't get me wrong, obviously, I love Tim's art, but that was just different and unique. And it was because it actually, pertained to the episode rather than just the book. So I actually like those a lot more just for that reason alone.
I think my favorite of that wave 2 has to be Attack of the Mutants DVD cover. That thing looks awesome. Cool one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
I actually think I like Monster Blood. I just like that it's almost like a realistic rendition of the book cover.
Yeah. But it's interesting too because if you look in the Art of Goosebumps book, in the original Monster Blood concept sketches, there's a concept sketch from Tim Jacobus that looks almost exactly like that DVD cover.
Well, it's the front-facing staircase with the door on top, so yeah, it is pretty similar to that. Who knows? Could have been. All right.
I don't know. I wasn't too thrilled when they changed over to DVD personally. I really liked the clamshells of the VHS, how they were designed, the colors, everything really screamed Goosebumps in '90s at the time. But also the fact that they did a lot of neat things with VHS clamshells that I was hoping they would do with Goosebumps later. Like, y'all remember Indian in the Cupboard? Anybody watch that or have it on VHS back in the day? So, like, super popular movie then. But you could turn the actual VHS sleeve around, make it look like the cupboard from the film, and it came with a little Indian and a little key to match the film. So you could put the Indian inside the VHS clamshell and pretend, you know. So, I mean, it was really cool. But they did a lot of really neat stuff like that with VHS back in the day that they never really continued with DVD going forward. You had to be there, Isaiah. You're too young. You were just a gleam in your mama and daddy's eye at the time, probably.
You can't replicate having to sit at the VCR and waiting for the rewind to finish and then playing it. And then while you're waiting, you just look and stare at the VHS case to hype you up.
Exactly.
Actually, I do. I actually had a VCR before I had a DVD player. So, but I think I was like the last of that generation to like really be into VCR and VHS. So.
The master of kid suspense, R.L. Stine, brings your favorite books to life in an all-new Fox Kids television series. Things are not always what they appear to be. On Goosebumps, premiering November 3rd on Fox Kids. Watch it with a friend.
He squirted his juice box all over the place.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. More looked like he was just
That's
being
a waste of juice. Come on, man.
He's like trying to like get it into his mouth, like. So,
he completely missed. If that's the case, I mean, it wasn't even near his face.
So that was the promo that Fox Kids had to tease Goosebumps coming to the Fox Kids lineup. I think this actually, I don't think showed until around the time that Haunted Mask premiered. Because weirdly, when Haunted Mask premiered, it was kind of just treated as a standalone special. Cuckoo Clock of Doom was treated as like the series premiere. So it was a weird case of like, I guess that one doesn't count, but it totally does. So, but this was the first promo, and it's classic. It's a classic through and through.
So I think that like we talked about with some people we've had on the podcast before, the Haunted Mask wasn't originally meant to be the first episode, but it ended up being chosen as the first episode. However, I know like the prime time thing was actually pretty big with Fox back then for certain premieres of stuff. Even season 2 of Power Rangers, when it came out, had like a 1-hour prime time special. So, but it was still the start of that season. Yeah. So you could still say this was the start of the Goosebumps season per se, you know, because it was definitely going forward. They had already shot multiple episodes at that point.
Yeah. But this is a classic promo through and through. I love the end shot with the kid screaming, and then his friend is like next to him, and she's laughing. It's like hee 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 hee. Like, weird.
My question is, where'd she come from? It was just that one boy in the beginning.
That's the
ghost. And then he squirts his juice box, and then all of a sudden she's there.
That's the ghost right there.
So you think the first question he would have is like, where the hell did she come from?
Yeah, exactly.
Not hold on to her.
I love the sharp teeth on the painting, and then also on the fish. The fish is like, bleh. It's great. It's a great promo. Through and through.
And then the close up of the clock as well. I gotta wonder if that was almost teasing Cuckoo Clock of Doom in a way.
Like there was quite a few teases to Goosebumps books, and then they actually had the books right there too. You know, Living Dummy.
Yeah, I mean, like the fish almost seemed like it was a Deep Trouble 2 thing, even though I don't think Deep Trouble 2 is even close to coming out at that point.
Oh no,
but...
that was 2 years prior. 3 years prior.
Yeah, that was years later.
A most chilling experience is waiting for you. You can make your next party a real scream with a Goosebumps ice cream cake for a limited time from your local TCBY treat shop. A taste so good you can send shivers down your friends' taste buds. TCBY Goosebumps ice cream cakes for a limited time. And for $5, you can get TCBY treats, gift certificates, and offers from Walden Books, Party City, and DreamWorks Interactive.
Making me want some ice cream right now.
Hold up. Let me say something real quick.
I want that cake.
Is that the house they use for Stay Out of the Basement? Because it looks oddly like yeah, it looks like the intro of the show when they start playing the montage before it clicks on. It looks exactly like that same house.
I don't know if that's the one from Stay Out of the Basement, but I think it was used in an episode somewhere. I'm almost
I'll say
positive.
Horror4Kids was playing that behind him at one point, but now it's Night in Terror Tower. So.
But
I think the same house for Stay Out of the Basement wasn't the same house from Stay Out of the Basement eventually used as the house in Welcome to Dead House as well.
I don't think so.
I think that's the same house.
I don't think so.
Maybe it's not. I don't know.
That wasn't the same house.
The house
wasn't okay.
But no, that cake is delicious because you can see it had the Tim Jacobus art on top, so the edible image, and then it had gummy worms and the green slime outline. But ice cream cake just reigns supreme. I prefer ice cream cake like 10 times over regular cake personally. Just 'cause I like ice cream. Or having cake with ice cream, like that slaps.
I don't even eat cake if there's ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's cool to see Triple Header get some representation on the cake too. You see Lefty, Righty, and Slim on there. That's fun.
I think it was because it was new at the time, and then you can see they had, coupons that you could get through TCBY treats, and one of them is for the Attack of the Mutant game, which was new at the time, which is pretty neat. But I remember, I think the later VHS tapes had a coupon for the TCBY treats ice cream cake, and you could use that to get the ice cream cake, at least like get some money off of that. But no, I mean, Goosebumps ice cream cake is a great treat. Do you guys are TCBY treat shops still near you? There actually is one near me at one of my nearby malls. You can get a cookie cake there.
I don't think we ever had one near me.
Oh,
dang.
We have Friendlies and Dairy Queen that have ice cream cakes.
Yeah. No,
or maybe Cargill.
I don't know if mine does ice cream cakes, but they do cookie cakes and really big like cookie treats. But it's pretty cool that at least there's some still around. There's no Goosebumps cakes there, so 1-star Yelp review.
False advertising.
Goosebumps. Terror in the graveyard game. Goosebumps. Get through the graveyard alive or be changed into a monster. Goosebumps Terror in the Graveyard game. Collect bells, avoid hidden traps, find the magic ring, defeat the headless ghost.
I win!
Goosebumps Terror in the Graveyard game.
Goosebumps.
Was that first monster a Teen Wolf? Like,
it looks like Michael J. Fox.
It's like Teen Wolf.
It looks like Michael J. Fox and Teen Wolf. No, I love the two like zombie ghouls at the end for no reason. The kids just turn into them, and then they're just like, it looks like they're nuzzling into him. I'd be pretty freaked out too if that was happening. Like, what? It's stranger danger. I love that curly animatronic at the beginning that peeks out from the tombstone. I want that. Imagine you have that on your lawn for Halloween, just a little curly that pops out.
That'd be great.
That'd be awesome. Side business, just building that in your garage and then just sell them to people.
Yeah.
I'd buy one.
No.
Maybe not from Isaiah, but I'd buy one.
I can't be the only one that thinks that this game is ridiculous to set up. all the like the folding and boxing stuff you have to do, and then all the cardboard and plastic. Just give me like a board and we'll call it a day. Maybe that's just me being lazy.
I don't have the board game in my collection, but like it doesn't look that immersive for all the stuff that it sounds like you have to put preparation into. I mean, it looks like you have to build a deck, and then you have all these cards and all these moving pieces. That would just be a headache to put it away, I feel.
Yeah, it definitely would. Well, especially when you have to, like, you finally get the stuff put together, and then you have to put it away. It's like, can it even fit in the box again? It just seems like a lot of work. So...
Yeah, that's what I've noticed about those kind of games. It's easy. You put it in the box when you first get it, and then you take it apart, put it together, and then put it back in the box, and it never fits.
Yeah, the hassle of old board games. But good commercial, though.
Just this one, apparently.
Pretty good commercial.
Can you identify who it was that frightened you, ma'am?
I'll try.
This Halloween, terrifying creatures are on the loose at Taco Bell. Wanted Goosebumps at Taco Bell. Slappy's Candy Keeper, Cuddles the Horrible Hamster, Rappin' Mummy, and Skullmobile. Get them now. Goosebumps collectibles only at Taco Bell.
Goosebumps at Taco Bell. I think was the only place that had this, and Pizza Hut were the only U.S. places to have, Goosebumps toys.
Yeah.
But
surprisingly, McDonald's never got in on that.
Yeah,
how big McDonald's was at the time.
Technically, years
really
later,
surprising.
Popeyes got in on it by releasing books for Horrorland. I think Taco Bell also did Horrorland, like around the time the classic Goosebumps came out.
Mm-hmm.
They did a new toy line too, so they've done two, I think.
Yeah, it might be a rights thing.
Yeah,
like
I'm honestly kind of shocked McDonald's never did any like Happy Meals for one of the Goosebumps movies, like when those came out. I'm
It
surprised
might
they
be a
didn't do Happy
rights
Meals
thing.
toys
It's
for
probably
those.
like how Burger King can only make Simpsons toys, but McDonald's can't. It might just be whoever gets the rights first.
Yeah, maybe.
But this line, the Goosebumps toys are probably the most popular among the, fast food toy lines. Is the Slappy, Cuddles, Curly, and Mummy. I only own the Mummy.
I do love them.
The Mummy toy, and I actually found it in a bargain bin at a thrift store. I was just looking, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, could it be? And yes, it was the Rappin' Mummy toy. But that's the only one I got.
Nice.
I got to get the rest of the set. But
So I have those. I actually have the Taco Bell kids meal box because that thing was just beautiful. Like back in the day,
They also work of art.
They just don't make them like that. It was too, and it was like all around too. It wasn't just like one or two sides. I mean, the whole box was set up to look like a haunted house, and it was really cool.
Yeah, that's when kids meal boxes had like games on them and all that stuff, and I don't know. It was a pretty neat time. It's just all the things in the 90s just used to be better.
Yeah.
In a way.
Well,
like old Happy Meals versus like
out there. Yeah, go ahead, Micah.
Or like the old Happy Meal boxes are so simple. Like this the simple little smiley face, and now they look like a demon from hell.
Well, yeah, when they rebranded, they had like the ones with the teeth and the eyes. It was like, ugh, no, get it all away. They're terrible.
No, it was there was a meme out there that somebody had made that showed that restaurants in the 90s were happy kids, and now they look like depressed adults in today's society, which is very accurate.
They need a Happy Meal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because modern McDonald's just look like prisons.
Yeah, the
like I used to have like a
disillusionment
local
of modernism.
Yeah, because like one of my local McDonald's that I used to go to as a kid, like had a jukebox, had like an Elvis statue in the corner. It had like an old vintage kind of like diner floor and stuff. It was so cool, and now it's just lame.
Well, I'm from the time when you went to a McDonald's play place and they had N64 displays that you could play Mario 64.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I didn't have those in my McDonald's play places.
That was cool. That was a great time.
Follow me to a place where creepy things crawl and monsters grow 60 feet tall. Oh, look how much fun they're having.
Goosebumps, live on stage, coming fall 1998.
Goosebumps live on stage. Now, this is the one that would appear on the Ultimate Goosebumps tapes. Before the show would start, they'd have this promo. And I believe this, and I think one other like actual commercial for a local area are the only like promos for this show, which is sad, but I like that they use the TV show Slappy here, and he has a very, I think it's the same one they had for the Fox Kids, like Slappy's Monster Madness, but it's always been my least favorite Slappy voice. It's just way too high pitched. But
I would love to.
No, it's fine.
See this. It looks so cool. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I did see this when I was like maybe 3 years old, 3 or 4, but I don't remember it because I was so young. And I was with my uncle who was 2 years older than me. My mom took me and my uncle to see it. I have pictures of it, but I don't remember seeing anything about it. So I was too little.
Well, like I said, there was a commercial version of this that I believe was, I forget where it was, but it had like, you can get a Goosebumps book, and it was the Screams in the Night book. It's like, if you go to the Rockford Cinema to see the show, you get a free Goosebumps book with your ticket. But yeah, this is the closest we have to video footage of that show, and it's not even, footage from the show. So, you get what you get.
What do you get when you combine the irresistible taste of fruit snacks with the spookiness of Goosebumps? New Goosebumps fruit roll-ups with scary peel-outs. And fruit by the foot with creepy Goosebumps story teasers. So deliciously unusual, everyone will try to get their hands on them, but they're only around for a limited time. So what's really scary is running out.
All right, fruit by the foot, fruit roll-ups.
Oh, those were so good.
Oh, wow.
They're amazing. Every once and again, I get a craving for fruit roll-ups, the tropical tie-dye ones. They're so
love
good.
them. Love those things.
But
wow, story teasers on the fruit by the foot thing. I wonder if those were like, you can only get whatever those stories were on those things, and how lost to time that probably is.
Probably are, because for the most part they probably got rid of them all. I mean, you don't hold on to the onto the wrappers when you're a kid, especially, and I guess we'll never know unless somebody manages to get an unsealed box of fruit by the foot Goosebumps, which I doubt.
Maybe some hardcore collectors out there might have a box of it. I don't know, but it has to be like hyper rare.
Yeah.
Who knows? But
any collectors out there watching this, if you've got some, hit us up. Send us some pictures.
Yeah, send us some pictures if you're willing to open it. That is.
And even the fruit roll-ups, they had like the peel out, so you had a bat and all that stuff. Do you guys remember when fruit roll-ups used to have the tattoos, the tongue tattoos?
Yeah,
that's what I was just saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tongue tattoos.
Yeah, I mean, they were always weird because you had to hold it on your tongue, and it always felt weird. And I don't know, it never worked for me. It would always it would just kind of fade away really quickly. But it was interesting. It was an interesting experiment.
I think the commercial was pretty well made too. Like, I like the girl coming through the paint, the old picture, and then the polar bear taxidermy thing on the floor coming up to grab some. I thought that was pretty cool.
And the statue is like, I don't even think they had like a real. I love how abruptly this commercial ends. Is like, it's the worst thing is running out. At the end. The end.
Lock your door. Bolt your windows. The wolf is on the loose.
Something's got me. Help me. Gross. Sucker.
The Werewolf of Fever Swamp, from the pages of Goosebumps, R.L. Stine's best-selling books for kids, comes a brand new video you can watch again and again. The Werewolf of Fever Swamp.
Did you know that a lot of people have disappeared around here?
There are no wolves in the swamp.
On sale now from Fox Video.
Well, that's just great.
It's so fun and scary. You can howl with delight.
So we got another VHS commercial. This one's for Werewolf of Fever Swamp. And I like this. The one thing I didn't mention with the last one is I like how they always have a shot of kids on the couch watching the tape, and then something happens, like their head spins or they turn into a werewolf. There was a UK one that also had like they just kind of disappear, and there's a dog on the couch, and he just was like, "What the hell? Where'd they go?" I like that Werewolf of Fever Swamp was the only one that actually had a green clamshell, and it made sense because here in the commercial it glows green, so it's almost like the tape itself is glowing green. But they never did it with any of the other ones.
No, they ended up changing the clamshell after about 3 or 4 of them.
I mean, didn't Haunted Mask 2 have a purple clamshell?
Well, yeah, it was purple, but I mean,
some of them had hard ones, and then some of them switched over to the cheap, like, plastic ones that broke apart after a while.
Yeah.
So the first 3, it looks like the Haunted Mask, Night Terror Tower, and Stay Out of the Basement
were black
in the U.S. anyway. Those are the ones that had the black plastic clamshells, and then after that, they started doing colors to the clamshells.
Mm-hmm. Except for Dead House. Dead House had a black one, but it was one of the hard ones, not like the first 3. But this was the only one that was green, which I always liked. Something about how this one looked was always the best. I think this one is probably my favorite looking of the tapes, just because I really like the Werewolf of Fever Swamp cover art, but I just like the orange with the green. I don't know. It was always a very appealing design to me.
The audio tracks that they used for the commercial was interesting. They had Will Blake saying "suckers," and I'm like, okay, where are they going with this? Like, it's kind of funny to listen to what they chose to market in these commercials. I had never thought of that being an iconic line from the episode whatsoever. So it's kind of interesting, kind of revisiting that.
Yeah, and you can howl with delight. I love that line.
For the wildest adventure ever, join Sail with the Stars and R.L. Stine, the author of Goosebumps, for a ghoulishly great cruise to the Bahamas, plus a vacation at Disney World Orlando. Join scary scavenger hunts, solve live-action mystery adventures, enjoy ghoulish ghost stories, and much more. The Master of Ceremonies awaits you. Ask your parents to call 818-999-3696 to book your reservations, or visit our website, sailwiththestars.com. It's a spooktacular cruise with R.L. Stine and Sail with the Stars.
All right, so that was...
Oh my goodness.
If you watch the Welcome to Dead House tape, after the episode ends, this promo plays promoting the Sail with the Stars cruise giveaway. And you get to go on a Disney cruise and go to the Bahamas and Disney World. And it was all themed around Goosebumps, as far as I know, at least. But it's interesting. I always love when they have stuff after a movie plays on tape. It's always, I don't know what it is. It's just kind of like, ooh, stay after the credits for some goodies or stuff like that. And it was the only Goosebumps tape to have something like that. But yeah. Have you guys ever been on a Disney cruise before?
I've never been on a Disney cruise.
I wish.
I've been
on cruise lines, but I haven't been on a Disney one. But I think it's cool that like Disney worked with Scholastic to market Goosebumps. I don't know if this was like the last thing they ever did in the 90s with Goosebumps, like openly. I know technically Feld Entertainment, the play for Live on Stage, they worked with Disney a lot. So I guess you can count that, but this had to be one of the last things they did.
Yeah, it was. It's cool how much Disney was involved, and I mean now technically they own like the TV series again, so whether or not they do anything with it is on them, but there was a lot of stuff, even like the audiobooks were done by Walt Disney Records and all that stuff. So Disney had quite a hand in Goosebumps back then. But yeah. Next one.
That's where it's rumored those really hard to find Series 2 collectibles came from. Like you could only get them like Disneyland and Disney World and stuff like that in their stores.
Yeah, it was I think it was the gift shop for the Disney World show, the live show in Disney World.
Mm-hmm. It might have been.
That's hard work. You hungry, Crunchy? Kraft peanut butter, my favorite. I think he likes this Kraft peanut butter. This looks like fun. Where are we going now? Now you can collect points on special packs of Kraft peanut butter and Kraft dinner mac and cheese for Goosebumps scary stuff. Like gurgling Goosebumps. Or the Goosebumps screamer, frightening freaky faces. Or the hideous bright lights. Wait till you get your hands on these.
I mean, they're pretty cool products, I gotta say.
The toys look cool, yeah. I thought that's what to say. Like, the toys look cool for what it's worth.
Yeah. Like, but it's like, I don't know, like, they probably didn't come with the products. So, like, did you have to mail in for them? I don't know.
Looks like you probably had to mail away to cut out UPC on the back, and then you mail
that's what I was gonna say, you have to cut out.
Yeah. I want the toy in the thing, thank you. I don't want to mail it and wait 5 to 7 weeks or some shit. Just give me the toy now.
You know how kids, you know how quickly kids will lose interest in that? Like, the instant they mail it in, they'll forget about it and move on to someone else.
Exactly. But I love how they called the... I don't know what the Cuddles, like, squish thing is, but they call it...
Gurgling.
Gurgling Goosebumps. Like, what? I don't think that's what that's called. There's also a weird crack in the voice when he says frightening freaky faces. It's like they became too robotic for a second. I actually didn't know that Kraft did peanut butter. I only knew them for the mac and cheese and all that stuff. Didn't know they did peanut butter. It was weird.
Yeah, they did back in the day, but I guess it seemed like there was a lot more peanut butter options back in the day. Like you had Peter Pan, Jif. I mean, so many peanut butters. I know Kraft did, but I think they got out of it.
Yeah, it was weird. But I mean, everybody knows that Jif is the best, so.
From the spine-tingling tales of R.L. Stine, it's Goosebumps, the #1 kids TV series on Fox Kids Saturday, where you'll find slimy monsters and headless ghosts, spooky surprises that chill you the most, ooze-filled adventures tripping and gross. So dare to be scared on Goosebumps, that is, Saturday after Casper, right here on Fox Kids.
Another classic Fox Kids promo.
Fox Kids Saturdays were the best, man.
Oh man, they had a great lineup. Like, if you ever have the chance to find like a recording of a Fox Kids Saturday morning with like all the shows, Life with Louie, Spider-Man, Power Rangers, Beetleborgs, and all those, like it's just a treat. It's like that, Disney Afternoon, and like Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network. Like, just 90s had some great, options for kids programming. But this was a great promo. I love Rob Paulson narrating this one. I actually recently found there's a longer version of this promo that was pretty rare, but it had like running through this whole school, and there was like a pit of worms that he almost falls into, and there's like Slappy floating around and all that. But I just love the kid in this one, like, channeling that Night of the Living Dummy 3 action. And then he gets slimed, like Slimer. I guess
that was meant to be Monster Blood or something, but...
Yeah. I just love how all the kids just look back. They're just like, what the fuck's going on with him?
The book got too excited.
Yeah, the book splooged all over him. Oh, it's nasty.
Gross. You're welcome.
Taco Bell presents Nacho and Dog.
Hey, Nach, how about another tasty taco?
No problemo, man. Hold it! Another bag!
Whoa, that was scary. Now, when you buy a Taco Bell kids meal, you can get one of 4 Goosebumps activity packs, like a 3D puzzle or a cool and spooky Goosebumps board game. But you'll only find them at Taco Bell.
That's that food. Bong!
Another Taco Bell commercial. This time for Goosebumps activity packs, and like I said, they had a 3D puzzle and a board game you can get. Like, that was pretty cool stuff. Though me personally, I still prefer the toys in the first commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I do think it's cool that the board game is themed after Deep Trouble 2. So that's like one of the only things they ever made merch-wise for that book, which I think is cool.
Yeah. But, just the prospect of back then you can get, like, a mini board game with your, like, taco meal, or, like, yeah, like a 3D puzzle. Nowadays, they just throw some random, like... Honestly, I went to a McDonald's recently, and the toys are just basically cardboard now. They don't even, like, make plastic. It's so cheap. It's so minimalist. You could at least get more bang for your buck.
That's the definition of modern corporations right there.
But that's a whole other topic for another day.
Alfie, these new Goosebumps flick pics are really scary. Thanks.
Here's a Goosebumps flick pick in your skips.
So, short one. Tell me what you guys think.
So that one I think is the Australian one, right?
It is an Australian
Skips
one.
Chips
So
was,
Skips is an Australian.
Because I have
chip.
the lenticulars I got from Bjorn. Well, some of them I got from Bjorn, but I remember him showing me the chip bag too, because he's got a couple, I think. But yeah, that's something I wish we would have got here too, because honestly, those lenticulars are really cool.
Well, I just got to say, there's a lot to unpack about this commercial. Number one, great music choice. Bum bum ba-dum bum ba-dum ba-dum bum. And then I love the kid is like, these Goosebumps fit pics are really scary. And then a hand just comes and dissolves it, and he's like, oh, thanks. And then his hair goes away, and then his friend looks over, oh! And then that's the end. Why does his hair go away? I don't want to ghost making my hair dissolve.
Scary.
It's such a whirlwind. Like, it all happens so fast.
I know. It's like it's like this commercial I think is only 10 seconds long, and so much happens, and then they're like, oh, buy them now. I'm like, wait a minute.
I know Joke thought they were about to do a Beavis and Butthead angle because they kind of look like them sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wait.
No, this one is goofy.
On that topic, did you guys see Ryan Gosling playing I think he was playing Beavis?
Yeah, I think it was a
tie-in
tie-in with an old
But he
SNL
actually
skit.
showed up on the red carpet that way too, with that same guy who played Butthead. So it was pretty amazing. It was a great SNL sketch. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it.
Now the horror is in your hands with Goosebumps Monster Head Maker. Create 4 hideous heads from the chilling tales of R.L. Stein, or eye-popping creations from your imagination that drip and drool.
I've got a runny nose.
Talk about gross. Crack open a dread head.
Monster blood.
Or try edible brain bites.
Look, Dad.
Handsome. Goosebumps brain bites you can eat. Monster Head Maker and Dreadhead you can't. Each sold separately.
Now, I love that they had to specify you can't eat the Monster Head Maker.
Or
so
the
you can eat the
Dreadhead.
brain bites. You cannot eat this giant piece of plastic. You can't eat that. So don't even try.
That's probably one of the coolest toys we've seen. The Monster Head Maker.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that this is by far my favorite toy that we've covered so far.
Yeah, just like that you could put slime into it, and then it just like oozes out of the ears and the nose, and you can make it talk. Like that's cool.
Shout outs to the makeup department for that episode or for that commercial, because the dad that looked like Mr. Mortman, that was actually pretty good.
That was pretty good.
It looks really
That was
good.
great.
And I love
I also
those
like the
Dreadheads.
Dreadheads. That's probably the most accurate haunted mask toy we've ever gotten. I feel like is the Dreadhead.
And Curly and the Mummy and Slappy, they really did their homework for those ones. They look really on model.
Yeah.
What do you think the brain bites tasted like? I know they say edible, but it's like, do they taste good? I don't know if I want to eat it.
It probably tasted like chalk, if I can remember. There's similar candies and other toys that they had like a mild, sweet, sugary taste, but it was mostly bland and like powdery when you bit into them.
It's like, at least make it, if you're gonna make it so you can eat it, at least make it taste good. Yeah, I could eat cardboard and it'd probably have the same effect. So,
watching these now, there's like 4 things I want.
Yeah, it's like watching through all these. You're kind of just like, oh man, I wish I had that.
That's a cool toy.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I've been looking for the Monster Head Maker for a while. Like brand new, sealed in a box.
You know,
and
I actually
they're hard to
wanted
come by.
I wanted to bring it up,
and even the open ones with the box are still like $300.
I feel like I saw the Monster Head Maker listed, but it was not Goosebumps. It was just like a generic, but it was the same toy. So I'm wondering if it was
they made a Goosebumps one, but I think it was based on one that was already out there. They just changed it, the stuff that came with it, to make it a Goosebumps one.
Yeah.
Because there was I can't remember the name of it now. I think it was made by the same line of like creepy crawlers. If you remember commercials for those, where you can make like gummies and stuff like that of all that. But it is a Monster Head Maker that you could do as well. It was just the same, but not the same. You know what I mean? They just threw in a few different things to make it Goosebumps.
Yeah, that was what I was saying. It was like, oh, that's weird. It's almost like they just were like, yeah, let's just slap some Goosebumps on there. But it works. It was just something I came across.
Goosebumps, one day at Horrorland game. Goosebumps, get a ticket to terror. To get out alive, you must survive the Wheel of Fear, the chilling horror bridge, and the rampaging skulls of the Doom Slide. It's no walk in the park. Be the first to get out of Horrorland alive and...
I win! Where'd everybody go?
Goosebumps one day at Horrorland game, and also look for Goosebumps Terror in the Graveyard game.
All right, so another board game, this time One Day at Horrorland. Even though it's, it's another one where you got to build it up, I actually always liked the One Day at Horrorland game over Terror in the Graveyard, because it looked like it had more going for it.
That game looked awesome, and that commercial, the production value was really sick. I think setting that in the carnival was awesome. And also, what was going on with that humming? That was creepy. I'm not gonna lie.
I know. I was gonna say that back music track was creepy.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually pretty creepy.
Yeah, it was creepy, and I just love, again, they just do like, I win is like, oh, my friends are all gonna die. But I just love, I think I remember, like, I don't know who it was, but somebody did like a review of the board game, like many years ago. It was like the Toy Channel, I think it was called, and they did a whole review of that board game, and it just seemed really cool, like just the Doom Slide, and like how your characters can get rocked all around by the different rides. It was pretty neat. It just seemed like it had a little more immersion going on than Terror in the Graveyard, at least.
Mm-hmm.
So
I never got to play that one.
Yeah, I mean, I have all three, and I think the only one that Terror in the Graveyard, One Day at Horrorland, and then they had a Night in Terror Tower game, which I don't think had a commercial. But I personally prefer the One Day at Horrorland just because I like the aesthetic of it.
Here, kitty, kitty. Here, kitty, kitty. Here comes the bride. Here comes the bride. Teacher's pet. Teacher's pet.
Enter the new millennium of fear. Goosebumps Series 2000 by R.L. Stine, wherever books are sold. Get ready to be scared, really scared.
Series 2000. Love this commercial so
Didn't they
much.
play this on the Ultimate Goosebumps tape?
That was very cool.
Yeah.
Didn't they play this on the Bride of the Living Dummy and Old Story tape?
They played this, yes. It was on the Ultimate Goosebumps videotape. So those ones had this commercial and then the live on stage one. But this was when, I think it showed up to that point, all the first 10 books were out. But
yeah.
But I also remember in front of Welcome to Dead House, they had the teaser with Tony J doing the voice, and it was like, it's not in your closet, it's coming for you. The best-selling book series is getting scarier, and then just said January 1998 with the Goosebumps splat, and that's like perfect.
Yep.
And I gotta say, Tony J doing Goosebumps commercial narrations, perfect. That guy got an amazing voice.
Is that who did this one?
Yep, because he's best known as like doing stuff like, Judge Frollo from Hunchback. But he did a few Goosebumps commercials, and this was one of them. And I just love his voice. It's so booming and like bassy.
Yeah.
It always made me like wish that I could hear Vincent Price doing a Goosebumps commercial. Because that's what it kind of makes me think of in the same vein. I think it'd be so good to hear that.
Yeah, or get
that would have been amazing.
Maurice LaMarche to do an impression of Vincent Price doing Goosebumps.
Honestly, James Avery, he voiced R.L. Stein in the Nightmare Room TV show. He would have been fantastic to do commercials.
He made the opening to that show awesome. I love his narration in that show.
Mm-hmm.
He's like,
he was awesome.
Might be stepping into the Nightmare Room. So good. But I also love just using the Jacobus art for Series 2000 and putting like the cat sound effect and the scream, and then especially the creature teacher with the monster roar. It's so good. Such a good...
I I appreciate you sharing this because right around this time is when I started reading Goosebumps. I can remember going to Borders Books and seeing Series 2000 when I had this tape. I actually, the day I got the Bride of the Living Dummy tape, I got Bride's book as well. So yeah, it floods back memories.
Yeah, it's
nice.
I mean, I remember when I first got the Ultimate Goosebumps tape, because I was so used to the other videotapes, and you know they always had kind of the same stuff on it. And then I'm like, whoa, a Series 2000 like promo, and it had all the books on it. It was so cool. It's a great way to like really tease that series for those watching the videotape.
They're coming to KFC. Now get 4 Goosebumps books for just $1.99 each with any purchase, including the mega meal. There's so much food, it's scary. But hurry, it won't be long before Goosebumps books disappear. Don't say you're not hungry.
The only thing dreadful about that commercial is the book selection that you got. I mean,
yeah,
they're not
what was
the best
it? Living Dummy 3, Ghost Beach, Lawn Gnomes, and
Monster Blood.
And Monster Blood,
Mhm.
yeah. Not
Yeah,
the
that's a
best
horrible selection.
Not the best
See,
selection.
I always said, and I think I said it in a past episode, it was a missed opportunity that they did not put Chicken as one of the books.
That would have been the perfect time to do it.
Looking good or something like that too. I mean,
The
that's like
tagline, it's a finger-looking nightmare. It's literally the
nightmare. There you
tagline.
go.
I love the
Right,
use
exactly.
of the Ghost
It
Beach
wrote
clip,
itself.
don't say you're not hungry. Love that.
That is pretty good though.
Oh, it's awesome. And
one of the best uses for not a very good episode.
now, when it comes to this, I'm pretty sure this is where like you would find those thin books too, because I don't think they would give you like an actual like full size Goosebumps book. It probably was like one of the really like thin ones you'd get at like, I don't know, the book fair or something like that. That's probably where you'd find them. Also, the fact that you have to pay separately for them, it's not like, you know, Taco Bell or Pizza Hut where you get it with the meal. You have to buy it separately and buy food at the same time. I don't think you could just walk in and be like, I will take all of your Goosebumps books, please. No, I'm not.
Well, I don't know. Like, I remember back in the day, like, when I wanted to collect the toys from a certain restaurant, you could just buy them. But they were about the same price, if not the same price as a meal anyway.
Yeah, something like that. Or just be like, you have to buy something to eat to get those books. And just be like, I'm gonna eat the books.
Well, supposedly back in the day, like Subway, they sold comic books, and somebody said that they got some Goosebumps books there. And I don't know if I've ever seen an ad for that, but yeah, you can. Yeah, supposedly you could buy them from there too.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Sing.
That'd be interesting if you could.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I never knew Subway had any hand in that kind of stuff, but
Neither.
Yeah.
You never know. They could have.
I don't know if it was like specific locations, because that was like one of the biggest franchises in the 90s. Like there's Subways everywhere, so
Yeah.
I'm assuming that some franchisees probably could have elected to get out of it, but I remember one in my area having comic books specifically, so I don't think that's too out of the realm.
Yeah, you never know. They could have, but you know, it was the 90s. Anything was possible.
I mean, you could find Goosebumps books in TJ Maxx back in the day.
Really? Now that's
the one I see the most is Ghost Camp. So you can look at it on the back of a Ghost Camp. You'll see a TJ Maxx sticker. For some reason, that book ended up in there, but you could find them back in the day.
Yeah,
in places
I know you can find some at like Shopco's too and stuff.
Handy Snacks presents me, Stick Figure. Yeah, life is great. My room's got a sunroof, I can eat crackers in bed, and I get to splash around in a tub full of cheese. Yeah, it's great being me. Only one small problem. No room for a brain! Enough with the yakking. It's time for snacking. Handy Snacks. Fantastic!
And now when you buy 2 or more Handy Snacks, you can get the latest Goosebumps book, The Abominable Snowman of Pasadena, totally free. To get your Goosebumps book, look for mail-in details on specially marked 8-count packages.
Woo, talk about Goosebumps!
So, I never had Handy Snacks or like just the cheese and crackers, but I remember having, they had the same kind of thing, but it was with Oreo. So it was an Oreo cookie stick, and you dip it in the cream.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those were the ones I remember personally.
I ate these at lunchtime all the time, and I think the reason why I think this guy discontinued or they changed whatever it was because of the fact that the stick, it was so small that you can get lodged in your mouth and you can probably swallow it.
Oh.
Yeah.
But like you would sear the cheese on the stick and then you would rub it on the cracker.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's better to just dip the cracker in the cheese. I mean, me personally, if I had a stick, I'd be like, throw this out.
Tough. The cheese was kind of tough. I mean, so you kind of had to use that to get it on the cracker because otherwise the cracker just breaks.
Yeah, the cheese was kind of like beer cheese almost. It was kind of thick, but still spreadable.
It was really thick.
I see. I figured it was more like, runny sort of like cream cheese almost.
Not like Cheese Whiz or anything like that. I mean, it was a thicker cheese, so.
I see.
I don't know why it was that way. Probably just to preservatives or something. I don't know. But
and then you get
now
probably.
Now for the Pasadena book, I'm wondering because I've read on this. I've actually done some like research on this. I'm wondering if because I think somebody on Reddit mentioned that they got their Pasadena from this promotion and they had like an advertisement thing in it or maybe like an insert possibly. I forget, but I've never been able to actually track one down. Because there's, how many copies of Pasadena are out there? You're like looking for a needle in the haystack almost to get a copy of one of these. But if they have like a unique advertisement in it, I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, that's. I mean, again, from the commercial, you can see it's one of those thin ones again. So it probably had some kind of like, Kraft mac and cheese or sort of promotion on the back at least. But you never know. I mean. Again, a lot of you would have to entrust that a lot of people bought these and then mailed them in for their books and then, kept them. So who knows? Many of them might have been lost to time, but you never know. Something could surface someday.
Goosebumps have come to stairs.
So get your Goosebumps hologram in every Steers Brat Pack.
There's cubes and rings, necklaces and pins with lots of very scary faces. Really scary faces.
And you can win a Goosebumps slimy special book.
And a chance to visit the Valley of the Waves at Sun City.
Entry forms are in every Brat Pack.
Get them before they get you.
We got another fast food commercial. This one is for Steers, which I believe is an Australian food chain. I'm pretty sure. But this is where you got the little medallions with the Goosebumps covers. That's where you
that
got
Pawn and Mask one looked a little bit different. I've never seen that art used before. It looked like no other art I've seen.
Yeah, it was definitely different. It looks. It's weird how much they like failed to really like recapture the Jacobus Haunted Mask. It always looked a little weird and off when they tried to do it otherwise. But
I will say the commercial was very 90s. The colors and everything, the purples and the greens. I mean, that's just so 90s. You go into a gas station back in the day. Remember those gas station cups?
Yeah.
It's like that color scheme going on here.
Yeah. No, you make a good point. I love the mummy at the counter giving the the Happy Meal or the Brat. I think Brat Pack they called it, which is a great name for a Happy Meal thing. Brat Pack. But no, and then you got like a contest, and you can win one of the. I believe it was a UK Monster Blood book. It looked like it was one of those collections.
I think it's a slime special.
Yeah, it was the slime special. Yeah. So that I guess this might have been a UK commercial then, because that's where those books were.
Yeah, we don't have this in Canada.
Yeah.
So wait, is the slime special book tied to this promotion, or was it just mass released?
It might have just been mass released and used as a giveaway sort of thing for joining that entry giveaway sort of thing. Who knows? Maybe it was. Honestly, if it was, that'd be really interesting that it came from, this promotion.
So, yeah, I don't know. The box looks very similar at first. I thought it was Taco Bell.
It does look like the Taco Bell box.
Because it does have some of the similar design features to it. Well, the one I have has very similar parts to it like this one does. So I thought this was Taco Bell at first until the commercial started more and started showing everything else. I was like, I don't remember this at all.
I've never even
makes sense,
heard of this restaurant before in my life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy. But it's always cool when you can find this kind of stuff, especially, you know, not everything in the UK and Australia was the same as the, you know, US and Canada, so it's always interesting to find it.
Microverse, Micro-Universe, Maximum Action. Incredible new worlds of microplay are within your grasp. Enter Transformers Beast Wars. The Maximal Killer Whale storms to the surface. The Predacon Spider attacks with an insectoid assault. The whale takes a stinging hit, then launches a killer counterattack. Then enter the Goosebumps Terror Tower. It's an in-your-face Fright Fest. Fear awaits you. Drop through the room and escape from doom. Microverse, Micro-Universe, Maximum Action. Microverse. Microplay said sold separately.
So that was Microverse.
Those things when I was a kid.
I had that too.
So
That's one of the things I've been looking for.
A double header of Transformers and Goosebumps. But that's the Goosebumps Terror Tower Microverse set.
I was like, is this where is the Goosebumps in this? I was looking real hard for the first the commercial.
I don't remember any killer whales in Goosebumps. No, the Terror Tower is really cool. I love the giant executioner that comes out and just hits if there's like an action figure there, just hits them right out of the way.
Yeah, and the design on the toy looked really cool for the executioner. It looked pretty book accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
I like when the hood is purple instead of gray. I don't know why. I just really like the purple hood with the gray clothing, or the green clothing.
Honestly, I think the look at the tower itself was awesome too.
It's a really good design for a toy. The only thing that stinks is that it's so small because it's a microverse thing. It would really be cool if it was like much larger playset. But you know,
I don't like they did with like Batcave or something back then. You know,
it was like the boys' version of Polly Pocket.
Exactly, it was like a micro machine or something.
Well, they
like
had
that.
They had Mighty Max. Do you guys remember that?
Yep. Max,
yeah.
Mighty Max.
They had Mighty Max, and they did stuff with I remember the X-Men ones too. I used to have the little pocket ones and the little tiny minifigures. They were really cool. Like a lot of fun to play with back in the day, and they actually did stuff with like water and all that stuff too. So they're pretty interactive for miniature toys to play with.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Also, have you ever guys find it kind of funny how back in the 90s and stuff, boys' toys most of the time are basically just girls' toys but remarketed?
I mean,
yeah, Polly Pockets, we got Mighty Max, the girls had the Easy Bake Oven, we got Creepy Crawlers or whatever, not the Creepy Crawlers. I can't remember what the oven the oven toy for the boys were, but
well, it was basically Creepy Crawlers. It was essentially because you made them in the oven.
Hey y'all. Merry Christmas, Sam. There you go, love.
Only at Smith's will you find the biggest range of Goosebumps products, with everything from videos and games to stationery and CD-ROMs.
So this is meant to be scary, is it?
Whatever they're into, get into W.H. Smith.
So that was W.H. Smith's Goosebumps commercial. I love that commercial. I love that the guy plays every member of the family.
That is great.
Yeah, and that kid has an awesome room. All that Goosebumps stuff in there, and just Goosebumps bed, the computer with the CD-ROM.
7 megabytes of RAM.
Like a hotel or like a store?
Yeah, I think it was like a store in England or in London, the UK.
Cool.
Yeah,
because
makes sense by the accents.
Yeah, and the Monster Edition was the UK version, so it was probably UK. But I love this kid got sold. He got a board game. He got the CD-ROM, the tape, the big book. But probably the most unrealistic thing is I don't think the Masked Mutant game is really that scary.
No.
So if the sister asked if this is meant to be scary, I'm like, no. Not really.
Nothing of Attack the Mutant. The book, the episode, nothing of it is scary.
I mean, if they did it, a little more better, I think it could have been scary. I just don't think it was an execution. But pretty good commercial. I really like it. I just like seeing that kid's room full of Goosebumps stuff. That should be me.
Is that not you?
Yeah, in a sense.
Spookier than Count Chocula's castle. I don't know, but I've got goosebumps. What's in there? Count Chocula? He's got goosebumps too.
Yes, Goosebumps 2000 and my Count Chocula cereal.
Wow, spooky new marshmallows.
That's right. Chocolatey bats, tombstones, mummies, and red-eyed ghosts.
Intense.
A Goosebumps Fright for a limited time on marked boxes of Count Chocula, a scary part of a good breakfast.
Count Chocula, Series 2000.
Top 3 series of all time.
Yep.
You gotta love that logo. I think wasn't there like something with a promotion with that, with like a hat that's like super rare with that logo on it?
Yeah,
I think so.
Weird. It's like the Goosebumps logo is like so skinny, and then like the 2000 just it looked really stylized. I always preferred it. But yeah, I think this was one of the few Series 2000 promotions there were, because I think they had a Lunchables thing and then Count Chocula, and that was about it. But it kind of sucks that the marshmallows weren't themed to Goosebumps. I actually think this same commercial was used when they did a promotion with Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, and they actually had Scooby-Doo marshmallows in there. This one is basically just
cool.
like tombstones, ghosts, that sort of thing. But it's the thought that counts, I guess.
So good.
But good cereal. It's never Halloween until the Count Chocula, Boo Berry, Frankenberry, those all come out. That's when you know it's Halloween.
Welcome to Horrorland. The world's only theme park where nightmares come to life. Explore the park. Play games. Enjoy the rides.
This is awesome!
But not everything in Horrorland is as it seems. Games take fiendish twists, and every ride could be your last. Beware, you're in for a scare.
There's something strange going on here.
Goosebumps Horrorland, the video game. Ride for your life.
Now, I remember seeing this game advertised all over the place in 2008. Like, every Goosebumps DVD had a trailer for this. You would see it on the website for Goosebumps, the video game. And the game is just okay. A solid 5 out of 10.
I really dig the techno theme in the background, though. It's really cool.
I like it. It had really good music.
I think EB Games or GameStop, they did like a PS2 release promotion where I think they gave you Calling All Creeps if you did like a pre-order. So like you got the green Calling All Creeps reprint with it. To get one of those sealed is like so expensive.
Wow, that's pretty neat. That you would get a Goosebumps book with it.
Yeah.
The fact that it's Calling All Creeps and they didn't like package, I don't know, like one of the classic Goosebumps.
One Day at Horrorland?
Like One Day at Horrorland.
Interesting choice of book, but definitely interesting game. I loved all the trailers for it. I just wish the game itself was a little, more interesting in my personal opinion, but it's neither here nor there.
It's like an arcade game. I think it's more fun to play it on the Wii with somebody playing with you than playing it by
you got the motion controls and the Wii mode, and it's more of like a party game than like your standard story-based thing. But it worked. It was fine.
Cartoon Network brings you R.L. Stine's Goosebumps. 40 episodes of Goosebumps. 20 hours of Goosebumps.
Mom! Dad!
More monsters than we can mention. Gives you Goosebumps.
Now
this is scary.
Countless screams. More goosebumps. So don't be a chicken.
Chicken? I know you are, but what am I?
Chicken.
Jim, open the door! You're the one in the cellar.
Goosebumps. The whole month of October. Premieres Monday night, October 1st at 8. You're in for a scare. Here on Cartoon Network.
So, I mentioned this on the podcast before, but that commercial scared the ever-loving shit out of me when I was 7 years old. That was the first time Goosebumps was on Cartoon Network. All the promos were like that. It was like an 80s grindhouse movie.
Like, come on, the genius behind that's perfect.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Great. It was such a way to like make it feel fresh and new, and it just was it made the show scarier than it actually was, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
The shot of the mummy lifting up in the basement, I mean, that was always the creepiest scene out of that episode, but the way they made it in this promo horrified me as a kid. Just the idea of being in your basement and suddenly a mummy sits up and just looks slowly at you. Oh, it was creepy. It was creepy. But Goosebumps...
It floods back the memories of coming back to this when I was like in middle school, because I got out of it for a little bit, and then seeing that promo and like the October bringing Goosebumps back on Cartoon Network, I was like, I'm in. And I caught a lot of episodes I didn't remember watching on Fox Kids back in the day for the first time. So.
It was a state. It was just like, it was like when you saw that on Cartoon Network, it was like, fuck yeah. It was like, Halloween is like, it was such a way to do Halloween on Cartoon Network, because you had all the, Halloween specials, but then you had Goosebumps. It was like, here's 2 episodes of Goosebumps, like right before Adult Swim happens. It was always great. It was fantastic. But I always remember this specific promo because I just remember it scaring the crap out of me as a kid.
New on video. Welcome to Dead House, where the dead won't stay dead.
I saw someone! Freaking me out, Amanda.
From the pages of Goosebumps, R.L. Stine's best-selling books for kids, comes an all-new, fun, and spooky video for you to watch again and again. Welcome to Dead House.
They're coming! Run!
It's so creepy, it'll make your head spin. You can get a free, spooky, glow-in-the-dark window decal inside each video.
Alright, so that might be my favorite of the VHS promos. I love the clips they used. I love they used the clip of Scott Whitware's character grabbing and trying to eat Amanda's leg. And I love the window decal. I do have that in one of my Dead House VHS tapes. I do have the window decal still, and it's pretty neat. But this was always my favorite of the episodes on tape, and this is my favorite VHS tape overall. So
that's my favorite episode, period. So this promo, between this one and the last one, those are like my top 2 Goosebumps promos of all time.
I don't know what it is about those episodes. They always just picked like really good clips, and it really sold you on the episode. I just love how they marketed the tapes. It was always great.
I mean, I was a Haunted Mask 1 and 2 kid. I watched those tapes religiously. But Welcome to Dead House and Fever Swamp are the next 2 behind that. I was obsessed with those 4 episodes.
Same. They were great. They were wonderful.
Yeah, The Basement was great too on tape. I love watching that too.
Yeah.
Yes, that was good too.
I think that was the first one I ever owned was Stay Out of the Basement. It was always a cover that etched into my brain at early age, so...
Come families, come friends to a place that's grand. For fun and for thrills, visit Horrorland. With twists and turns and flips and spins, our rides are a riot, so strap yourself in. If your tummy is grumbly, please don't be shy. We've got oodles of tasty treats to try. So come for adventure and fantasy too. Your Horrorland friends will be waiting for you.
I pretty much stayed in the vein of, the 62 Series 2000, Give Yourself Goosebumps, and the TV Presents. Like, I didn't really venture too much into like Horrorland or the Slappy World books, so.
I remember, this was around the time that I got into the books, so this was everywhere when I was getting into them. And again, when you got those Goosebumps DVDs, this and the game, like Horrorland was everywhere, so they were always advertising it. I remember the website, Enter Horrorland, with the games they had on there. I also love the Slappy flash frame in there of the Slappy puppet. That was always fun to me. I would always like try to freeze frame it on my DVD player, so I could catch a glimpse at it. But it's a great commercial.
Yeah, I think that it references Say Cheese and Die in some ways with the Polaroids.
A little bit. I love the mummies eating the burgers with the eyes on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something about the marketing of the Horrorland series itself that is so perplexing, because if you look at the books and the advertisements, at least of the first prints and stuff, they're trying heavily to get you to go on the website and participate in the games and the immersive stuff that tie into the series as a whole. And I feel like that was probably the most ambitious Goosebumps ever was in terms of like a series, because there's so much sister material, and even later on you got the survival guide, and then you have like the wrap-ups of each arc, right? They were trying something a bit different that they've never done since, which is really cool. And seeing it advertised like this makes it make more sense, because they're trying to get you to go on the website and play the games.
Exactly. I remember playing those games. It was always fun. Every new book unlocked a new map, and it was like, when you read the book, then you can interact with all the new games and stuff you could play. It was great.
Wasn't there like message boards on the website too, or something like that?
I think it was on the main Goosebumps website. I don't think it was on Horrorland. But I could be wrong. I don't think Enter Horrorland is up anymore. I think it's just, the regular one.
Yeah. You could probably find it on Wayback if you wanted to.
But we got one more commercial to watch, and it's a classic. So let's take a look.
The #1 best-selling author R.L. Stine wants to give you lots and lots of Goosebumps in 3 different book series. First, Goosebumps, where the terror began and the screams go on forever and ever. Then, give yourself Goosebumps, where you choose from 20 different scary endings. And don't forget, Goosebumps presents books based on the Goosebumps TV show with creepy color photos inside. From Parachute Press and Scholastic, available wherever books are sold. Write us to get information on how to join the all-new Goosebumps fan club. Goosebumps, they're so good, it's scary.
That one is a utter classic. That's one
classic.
You always saw on the Goosebumps
Definitely.
tapes. Goosebumps books, Give Yourself Goosebumps, and the TV Presents. And then eventually they did one where the TV Presents were replaced with the triple header. But it was always great. I just love how they incorporated the books into the Tim Jacobus art. So, like, whether they're coming out of the drawer or they're coming out of the monster blood, it was a great piece of, like, editing those photos of the books in. And great atmosphere overall.
I'll tell you, like, growing up with those tapes, hearing that music come on, it, like, triggered something primal in me and, like, gave me goosebumps, legit, just listening to that ad.
Yeah, no, it was great. It's a great way to like get you hyped. Yeah. The great 1-2 punch of those tapes is that the promos got you hyped up to watch Goosebumps. I don't know about you guys, but seeing that stuff and talking all about Goosebumps, and it's like, all right, I'm ready to actually like watch the episode now. So it was always the great part of those tapes growing up.
The music on that commercial was eerie and like fantastic. Like to appreciate the song. I mean, I kind of wish they played that song more in the show. I don't know if Jack Lentz wrote that, but if he did, that was really good.
It might have been like a studio song or something like that. But it sounds. I feel like I've heard it before. But it is a really good song.
The color is great too. Anytime you see that green fuchsia, it's camp. It's Goosebumps.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we went through all those Goosebumps commercials, and there's so much more, but I think you get the idea at this point that Goosebumps was such a lucrative franchise back then, and there were so many products and tie-ins. It's crazy. If you guys have more interest in the world of Goosebumps commercials, like I said, go check out my main channel. I post Goosebumps commercials all the time. I'll actually leave a link in the description for that big 4.5 video I was talking about earlier. Have yourself a treat, get yourself some popcorn, nuzzle up on the couch and watch some Goosebumps commercials. It is a great time. And that is going to do it for today's episode of the Goosebumps Crew Podcast. Hey, Completionists and Horror4Kids, thank you guys for joining us again and chatting with us about Goosebumps.
It's always great to have you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
No, you guys are always welcome. You are honorary Goosebumps crew members, so thank you guys. And of course, be sure to follow Goosebumps Completionist and Horror4Kids on their social medias, their YouTubes. I'll link all that in the description below. Be sure to follow the rest of the Goosebumps crew, Shaw, Nick Shaw, and the Ultimate Goosebumps Man, Michael Lilquist, as well as Goosebumps Aussie fan Bjorn Panelik on their social medias and their YouTubes. They really, really do deserve it. And of course, give us a sub over at the Goosebumps Crew YouTube channel. Follow us on our audio platforms and our social medias, Instagram, Twitter, and our newly opened TikTok. You can find all of our updates over there. All those links are in the description below. We'll be back with a new episode next week, but until then, this has been the Goosebumps Crew Podcast, and from all of us here at the Goosebumps Crew, we want to wish you all to take care, stay safe, and have a very scary day.